What's your experience with respect to companies, and is there a generational difference? And does that matter to you when you're looking at what makes a business attractive to acquire?
The generational concept is interesting, and personally it's one that I put no stock in. I don't think that there's really any differences between the generations, except the younger ones just happen to have a cell phone, and the older guys have it too. But when you think about purpose,
Yep.
and there's a lot of broad commentary about young people saying, well, I need a purpose in the work that I work for, and I need to believe in what I'm doing. Well, who doesn't want that? What 55-year-old guy doesn't or gal doesn't want that, and what 18-year-old doesn't want that? Everybody wants to have a purpose in what they do. And I think there's some stigma around younger people maybe wanting a lot more flexibility in their work and being able to work remotely. I think younger people are a little bit more adaptive to technology, so they've just figured out how to do it. But I talk to anyone who's in their 50s or 60s and ask them if they want flexibility in their work. Of course they do. So I don't think there are actually that many differences, and I think people are pretty consistent generation to generation. So I don't usually think about it that way too much. I think most people want all those things. Most people want purpose. Most people want flexibility. Just some people are maybe used to it a little bit more. But I think everyone wants those things.
But I want to get you to kind of flesh out a little more when you talk about the generational makeup of the company. Kind of what do you look for? Because you kind of warned about if everyone's kind of heavily weighted towards the boomers generation, does that make the business more at risk? Does that make it more worrisome for you as an acquirer? What are your thoughts kind of around that?
The age of the general age of the management team is always a big concern to the buyer.
Yeah.
And not necessarily just the age, but their intentions.
Okay.
So, for example, if you have a company that's got a management team of, say, 6 people, what does that group look like? What are their ages? And what are the shareholdings of that group? Are they all shareholders, or is there one person who's the key shareholder? And it also depends on how big the transaction is and how much money these people are getting. Are they getting enough money that now they'll just be able to have a comfortable retirement, but they still need to work a little bit more? Or are they getting a much larger chunk of money where they can all be out the door the next day? And how do you entice them to stay? And of course you can have contracts that say you must stay for a certain amount of time, but I've never really loved having contracts that tell people that they must stay, because if you have a contract that says that somebody must stay there and they don't want to be there, what's their productivity and what's their buy-in to what you're trying to do? So I think understanding just the makeup of the management team, both age and intention of what they want to do after this transaction happens, and figuring out if they have the ability to leave wholesale, all of them, what can we do to make sure that they would want to stay?